How you doing, my friend?
Trying to still get my computer to work. It's being an asshole. How are you?
I'm fucking exhausted. Long story, combination of a bunch of things. Just totally wiped out. So this will be great. Your computer frustration and my exhaustion will make for a thrilling podcast.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And I look like shit, so it's perfect.
Well, you want to throw on a hat or something? You look okay to me.
Nah.
This is this is the no idea zone. Let people have it the raw.
Exactly.
Give it to them raw.
I mean, if I was a man, I'd be raw dogging all the time. So,
Yeah. If you were a man, it would be difficult to get sex at all the time, but if when you could get it, you should be raw dogging. Ooh, I think you froze up. Oh, you just froze up on me, and my punchline did not land because you were frozen. Frozen in the no idea zone, people. Frozen in the no idea zone. Did you hear all of that?
heard most of it.
You're back.
I'm back. I'm not
Um,
even going to try with my computer anymore.
so let me give you a little intro.
Okay.
Of what I know. I didn't even we didn't really prep for this. We just sort of, this is just a shotgun thing. But my friend, comedian, mom, mother of how many kids?
3 boys.
3 boys. Wow. The Partridge Family. Mother of 3 boys, comedian, professional massage therapist, and host of the most enjoyable podcast I've ever been a guest on. Even still to this day, that was a couple years ago. Happy Endings, my friend Joy Eileen. Thank you for joining me in the No Idea Zone, my friend.
You're welcome. How are you?
Besides being exhausted, I'm okay. I'm okay. I could use a little more female company for raw dogging, but other than that, I'm pretty good. Yeah, living at the beach. And how are you? What have you been up to since last I saw you?
Well, let's see. I started a podcast with my husband because I had to touch a microphone somehow. So we have When Wife Gives You Lemons, and we just talk shit to each other for 40 minutes. And we bought a house.
Oh,
We got kicked out of where we were living, so we had to buy a house. And my next book I'm publishing in June. So just, the normal stuff.
oh, good. Well, we got the plugs of, I didn't know about the pot, or I may have seen the Lemons podcast, but I didn't know that. So glad that you tell me again what the name of that is.
It's When Wife Gives You Lemons.
When Wife Gives You Lemons. Cute. So, and where can we find that?
Everywhere. You can get it on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, all of that shit.
Okay. And are you thinking of bringing back Happy Endings at some point?
Yes. Well, I had to put it on hiatus because people were threatening to take my license away if I continued to massage during the COVID time. So I had to put it.
I see. Wow.
Yeah.
So that would be like sort of cutting your own throat by broadcasting that.
Exactly. So I just put it on hiatus. It's still there. I still have people who want to do it. I have people who want to come back. So as soon as I can get back somewhere and I know that my license is safe, I'm totally back into that.
Okay. Can you tell the audience out there, the 25 to 30 devoted people who are going to be watching this, about Happy Endings? And then I'll take my take.
Okay. I'm a professional massage therapist, kind of. I've been doing it 14 years. And I have so many people at the chiropractic office that I was working at, and we talk and they tell me stories. And then I just decided that this was some way to get people to realize that I'm a comedian And I started working my way at the Comedy Store and meeting people in the green room, and then just massaging them and making them talk to me while they were naked.
Okay, just to pause for a second. Joy is will be again, I'm assuming, when the Comedy Store opens back up. In the green room, there's an area. It's not unlike any comedy club. It's a huge green room, like a backstage in a theater. And they set her up, and she would give massages to all the comics or anybody who was in the green room visiting, hanging out. And then from there, you transferred that. This is in the main room. You transferred that. You somehow talked to them, and they were like, "Yeah, why don't you do it?" So down in the basement where all the podcasts are filmed, my ass got naked, and we did about an hour and a half. Was it?
Yeah, they go pretty.
Oh, you froze up again. Wait, we're gonna wait. Right in the middle of something important too. That was a good, important thought. Oh, this is the zone. It could be your computer.
It could be. It could be.
So she got me down in the dungeon, down in the basement. And we met through Sam, right? Because I was doing Sam's podcast. Is that how? And you were like, you gotta come do my podcast. So I came, and she got me. Oh my God. I walked out of there so happy. And I don't know what I don't remember exactly what I said. You can find it on YouTube, by the way. Happy Ending, Stephen Lolli. It'll pop right up. People watched that. I promoted it, and people I know watched it. And one woman said,
No.
One woman said, "I'm sorry, that was too intense. What you had me describing, and what you were like prying out of me, I didn't think was any big deal at all." And she said I had to cut it off at some point. It was too graphic.
Perfect. That's exactly what I want.
Yeah, I figured you would get a kick out of that. I never told you about that.
That's beautiful. That's amazing.
It's pretty
But
amazing.
I had some people who turn off the volume and just watch me massage, and they said it's relaxing. So,
well, they may be doing something else.
It's relaxing
while they're watching that. I mean, I'm not one to watch a soundless massage and climax, but everybody's different.
No judgment.
Everybody's different. Some people are into feet, some people are into armpits, some people are into the stuff we talked about on the podcast, which it seems to veer that way. And so you would ask, like with me, you ask some, I mean, personal stuff I didn't think was a big deal, but then we're comics,
Right.
So you get like, you're better than a psychiatrist at getting stuff out of people.
I've had people cry. I've had things happen. In the 14 years I've worked, it's been a lot.
Oh, can you tell us about a couple, like give us the top 3 most unexpected things that happened?
Unexpected. Okay. My favorite, I actually tell this on stage, and the sad thing is there's no exaggeration on this. I had a guy, first time massage for me and him, and I walked in and he was on the table, not under the sheet, but he was wearing gym shorts. So I was like, okay, cool.
This is the comic you were having on the podcast. Oh no, this is the massage.
This is straight up at a chiropractor office. And he goes, I didn't know what type of establishment this was, so I left my shorts on. And I go, okay, well, if you want me to rub like your glutes or your groin area or anything like that, you can get naked, just get under the sheet and I can properly drape you. Like textbook massage answer. And he goes, what if I don't want to get under the sheet? And I'm like, well, I'm married with 3 boys. You're not going to show me something I haven't seen. And he goes, you haven't seen mine. And I was like, okay, whatever, pretty penis, cool, whatever. And then later he's like, Joy, I really like you. I bet having sex with you would be like having sex with a wildebeest. Yeah.
That's the guy. That's the guy that ends up heckling and getting
It
kicked
hurts.
out and getting forcibly removed. That guy was like probably not hammered when he came.
Nope.
Maybe he was. You never know. He might have been on some pills or something. But like, imagine that guy hammered at a club, right? Like he's gonna wanna. Wow. Okay, so but what were some of the things when you were rubbing the comics, when you were working on the comics? I was not one of the most shocking, I'm sure.
No, Jamie Kennedy, and you can watch this. This is not anything I'm making up.
Was he the one who cried?
No, he's the one that told me, Joy, you massage all the muscles in the body, and the penis is a muscle. So why wouldn't you massage the penis? And I was like, because no.
I was thinking you were going to tell me he was the one who cried
No.
about his career decisions in the 90s.
The funny thing is, I went over to Anthony. I massaged Anthony Jeselnik, but he's never been on the podcast. I just go to his house and massage him. And I told him about that, and he's like, "Yeah, oh, that guy is weird." And I'm like, thank you for that. I needed that. So
Okay, because he knows him. He knows him pretty well.
yes, yes. And I
What?
mean, no offense to Jamie Kennedy, that was something that needed to be happened. Somebody needed to ask me, so it just was him.
Yep, yep. It needed to happen, and that's probably what his perspective as a comedian is. He's like, I'm gonna do the things that others won't, and there's a reason we won't. There's a reason we won't, Jamie. So, what other when you were massaging comics? Give me uh, some other crazy confessions, or like go through your just hits before we get into your stand up here. Your hits.
Okay, well, Steve Renazizi, he was one of my favorites. While I was massaging him, I made him almost cry. I had my palm in his back, and he goes, "Is that your elbow?" And I go, "No, that's my palm." And he goes, "You got strong palms." And then I put my elbow in him, and he's like, "No, no, no, don't do that." Martin Marino, the whole time I was massaging him, he was trying to convince me that polyamorous relationships should be a thing. So that was fun. Just the things people say. I'm trying to think
when they're relaxed, when they're so relaxed. Yeah.
Craig Robinson refuses to go on because he knows he's going to say something he will regret.
Well, when you're at that level of notoriety, and you've had so he's been in some circles and seen some crazy things, and been around some crazy, probably hedonistic shit. Yeah, you've got a lot more to say than a Stephen Lolli. Not that I haven't had some hedonistic experiences, but I haven't been to the Playboy Mansion, the Playboy Mansion level of. So, did you start doing stand-up before you were massaging at the store? What was the chain of events?
I've been massaging for, like I said, 14 years. And then we just started going to the Comedy Store just as watchers. And crazy, Steve Simone was up on stage, and he was being heckled by a very, very drunk woman. And Steve Simone lost his ever-loving shit on her, which he's the nicest person in the world. So you were like,
yeah,
whoa.
I've met him a couple times. Nice guy.
Such a good person. But he left, and then he came back, and he told her, basically, I don't know what's going on in your life, but you probably need a hug. And he gave her a hug. And then he got on stage, and he goes, I bet a lot of you right now are thinking I can do stand-up. And I looked at my husband, and I go, yep. And he at the same time goes, nope. And I was all, oh, we're different. But I've always been that, like, funerals. we're pretty much the only way I could get into a microphone was funerals, and my dad hated it. So anytime they're like, would anybody like to come up and say something? I'm all, I get to talk in that and people listen. So funerals was kind of my first thing where I started talking.
Oh man. Okay. Well, let's unpack that. Tell me about your best funeral gigs. I want to know, what was your first funeral gig?
My first funeral gig was a family friend. She was an older lady. I mean, old, she had a mammy. She was that old. And she used to rock me and sing me to sleep. And I must have been 9. And they were like, does anybody want to say anything? And I'm all, yep. So I got up and my dad was like,
Were you drinking? Oh. Were you drinking before this?
I was 9.
You were 9?
I was 9.
Oh, please share the things you said. Can you remember the content of your eulogy?
Basically, I remember saying that I knew she had a mammy, and I knew she used to rock me to sleep and sing the same song her mammy sang. I mean, I had people in tears. I was like, oh, I'm good at this shit. Like, this is gonna work.
Yeah.
I'm all, who's next?
You saw like a purpose in life at 9.
I did. I was like, okay, who's dying next? I need a next gig. And then my grandpa passed away.
How old? Okay, how old were you then?
I was a freshman in high school.
Lot of time between gigs there.
A lot of time.
You didn't go out. You didn't hit the pavement of the. You didn't really properly repurpose that.
I know. You know what? I had too many healthy family members. I was like, fuck, can you guys eat some cheeseburgers?
You had way too healthy family to realize your dreams as a funeral comic. Your fucking healthy family held you back, Joy.
I did. You know, I would be headlining now. And so same thing.
How many? Okay, so how many were there? How many funerals were there before you you got into the funeral life of being a comic?
4 funerals and a high school graduation.
Ooh, that's like the American 4 weddings and a funeral. 4 funerals and a high school graduation, which is kind of, well, high school graduation is kind of like a prison break.
Yeah.
That's great. This is good shit. So how did you speak at your high school graduation? Were you like valedictorian or something?
I was close. I graduated with a 4.16, so I was close.
Did you just grab the mic? Did you just run up there and be like, I've got some shit to say to you fucking cunts?
Kind of. I went to the principal and I was like, hey, I want to speak at the graduation. And he's all, who the fuck are you? And I'm like, I'm Joy Eileen. And he goes, I can't just give you minutes. And I go, how many minutes would you give me? And he goes, 3. And I go, I'll write a speech. I'll be back tomorrow. And I came and I did the speech in front of him and the secretaries, and he gave me 3 minutes.
Holy shit. He was like Jimmy Brogan. He was like your Letterman go-between.
He was like, fuck, give this girl the microphone.
Yeah, you had like a Letterman showcase.
I did.
And they approved you.
Mm-hmm.
Was it an inspirational speech? What was it?
It was funny because I graduated, I'm going to date myself. I graduated 99. And so it was when El Nino came. So I talked about that. And I don't know, the basic bullshit, persevering, and I'm a badass and you should be like me sort of thing.
How did it go? How were you received?
Really well, actually. But I've never been able to watch it because my dad recorded over my speech with porn.
Man, that's got to be somewhere in your act. You got to put that. That's the punchline of something. That's incredible. Your healthy family members have just hamstringed all of your opportunities. They've just fucked everything up for you.
Everything. I mean, it was basically like, hi, my name's Joy. We're going. And then this bitch is like, I'm coming. I'm like, we just left.
Oh my God. That's so funny.
Oh,
that is so fucking great. This is good shit. I'm getting out of you what you got out of people on the table, dude. I'm getting some stuff. Have you talked? Is this the first time you've podcasted about this, or have
I
you?
actually talked about it on the podcast I do with my husband because he
Okay,
was
but
like,
no foreign or no outside. I'm good. I'm not even touching you. I'm pretty good at this. I gotta say, yeah. Wow. So this is good stuff. Okay, so I got a memory that it just came to me as you're
okay,
talking about this. Is I had a horrible, I not an enjoyable high school. Like being in school in the 80s and 90s was not like Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It wasn't like good. Um, but there was one teacher who really liked me, and her name was Mrs. Yanez. And I don't know what the fuck it was about me that she liked me. And she would, I knew she liked me because she'd smile when I'd talk,
no,
and laugh at the shit I'd say, which I was junior in high school. So I convinced this lady to let me give out awards at the end of the year to all the kids in the class. And she let me get up in front of the fucking class on the last day of school and give out these like, I basically was roasting the kids in my class, which if you're ever a kid standing in front of kids, they don't want to be fucking embarrassed. And one kid was on the basketball team and I gave him a jock strap with his initials on it. Dude, it was horrible. It was a horrible. I felt so bad afterward. And Mrs. Yanez came up to me after. Basically what I'm saying is my early addressing opportunities did not go as well as yours did. And she came to me after as if I needed to know, like as if I needed her to tell me this. She came up to me the next school year, I think, because it was junior year, so senior year. She came up to me in school, or she passed by me and she said, I should never have let you do that. This was like, but who could know? Like a year or two later, I would be attempting stand-up comedy for the first time. I started really young.
That's awesome.
Super young. So she didn't know. That was a taste of what being a stand-up, ladies and gentlemen. That was a taste of what it's going to be like when you think, like when I was writing these awards out, I thought it was the most profoundly hysterical shit that I would give. Like I gave one award to a girl who everyone wanted, she was hot. And I was like, and everybody wants to sleep with you, but nobody will tell you, or something like that. And it was bad, dude.
That's amazing.
It was pretty amazing, but it's amazing for you and I now. It was horrible then. Anyway, so thank you for letting me share that memory. So let's move on to, you are at the Comedy Store with your husband and Steve's on stage and he's giving a hug. And then you decided
I was like, well, nobody's dying, so maybe I can touch the microphone that way.
Okay.
So
yeah.
So John found an open mic. Thankfully, I found the most supportive husband ever. Like, because I'm one of those people that likes to try everything. So he just kind of sits back like, fuck, what are you going to do now? So, I was like, I'm going to write books. I'm going to do stand-up. And he's just like, all right, go do it. So he found an open mic. I went to the Ha and I did 5 minutes and then didn't do it again for 2 years. And then got into flappers somehow. And then I always wanted the Comedy Store. Like I never felt like I fit in, except like when I got tits. That's when I was like, okay, people like me. Junior year in high school. But when I walked into the Comedy Store, I was like, I belong here. And so I just kept trying to get in, trying not to be obnoxious, just being like, hey, hi. And I just slowly weaseled my ass in it. And then COVID happened.
How long were you there in the main room before COVID hit?
Well, Josh Adam Myers had a show every other Thursday, and he decided he was going to let me close his show. So for 3 shows, I got to close in the main room, and then COVID
Wow.
happened.
What year
Yeah,
was that? When was that?
2000. When did COVID happen? So 2019.
That was the year before COVID.
Yeah, and
Wow.
then we all shut down.
See, I
So,
thought I met you there. It's interesting now that I'm remembering that I met you there through Sam because Sam Tripoli, Sam Tripoli, who you've seen on this podcast ranting about psychological operations and other things that I don't weigh in on because I really don't know henceforth what is going on. But anyway, I had been asked to headline the Cindy. Cindy had a show there once a month in the main room, and I didn't realize it was, it wasn't really like a Comedy Store show. It was in the Comedy Store, but it wasn't it
it was
wasn't booked.
outside produced.
Yeah, it wasn't booked by the Comedy Store. Probably like the one you did, similar to the one you did. So I was asked to close the show, and I was billed as a headliner. But there were like 37 fucking comedians on the show. And even on the flyer, all 37, you could have 37 comics in the main room because it's going to go till 2 a.m. or whatever anyway. But you don't put them all on the fucking flyer.
Oh shit.
They were all on the flyer, and I'm like, I never had, in 20 plus years, I never really hung out at the Comedy Store. And this was a huge way to kind of meet people and go. And even if the set didn't go well, which it wasn't my best set. But I thought I met you then, but I'm realizing I did not meet you there. That was 2017.
Well, I was there. I just, because I got a job there in 2017.
Oh, massaging or okay.
No, I worked in the kitchen 1 day a week.
See, this is what I want. I want the timeline. Just give me the timeline.
Okay. Oh shit. Yeah. So we started going about, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago. And then when I decided to become a comic about 7 years ago, then we started doing Kill Tony every Monday. That was our date night because I just dragged my husband along. I'm like, no, it's a date night. Really, I'm not trying to network or anything. And so then about 3 years ago, because of COVID for this year. So I worked at the Comedy Store about 1.5 years before we shut down. And I just worked in the kitchen 1 day a week delivering chicken tenders and chicken wings. And I just worked in the kitchen.
You were the chicken deliverer.
I was. And that is when I realized I had the worst white guilt ever.
Why? Because you were bringing chicken to Black people?
Yes. And I know
that's a super paranoid, neurotic white guilt. That's ridiculous.
Well, no, see, what the thing is they don't tell you who ordered. They just tell you what table. And then you ordered the chicken wings and you walk over and
you were bringing chicken all kinds of different ethnicities.
I know, but I just didn't want to be an asshole. So, but I did. I hit people with I've hit people with the tray. I've set my tray on top of people's heads. I'm the worst person to do this job.
A couple of takeaways. First of all, one, you weren't meant for that.
Nope.
That was a bridge to the massage table in the green room or whatever.
Yep.
2, if you're a young, struggling comic out there who's looking for a way to get into the Comedy Store, ask to be the chicken delivery person. Because they have a chicken. We're just discovering now there's a fucking person delivering chicken tenders and chicken wings. And that's specifically just the one thing.
Yeah. You don't even take the order. The servers take the order. You just deliver the food.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Complicated, advanced infrastructure. a couple weeks ago, Bob Wheeler came on here and told us how he saved the Comedy Store back in the 90s when they were about to go under. Did you watch that one?
No,
You should
I'm
go
gonna
on and
have
watch
to.
that. See if more people knew what an interesting podcast this was. If I was even remotely visible,
I know. I feel the same way.
they're going to know about Bob saving the Comedy Store. It's really interesting.
I think I shared it because it's on my timeline because I wanted to watch it. It's
Okay.
just,
Well, you must. And now we find out that the world famous Comedy Store has a complicated infrastructure of chicken waitresses, chicken delivery people. Fucking crazy, man. Totally
yeah,
wild. Wow.
we are no one. Like we don't even get tips
I'm
because
sorry. I think that's a great job. I would have, in my 20s, I would have loved to be the chicken delivery person.
it's beautiful.
But
I got all my steps in.
it wasn't good for you. It wasn't your grace. It wasn't your grace. It didn't vibe with your, you know.
I mean, I did well, I think.
Well, you moved on, obviously, and everybody
Actually,
likes you there. Everybody likes you there.
I hope so.
And
And that's the
you took pictures of me. I have pictures from performing in the main room because of you. So
yes.
on Sam's Comedy Chaos. So okay, so you started doing stand up,
Mm-hmm.
and so then the open mics,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
then you would go to Kill Tony on
Mm-hmm.
whatever day of the week that is to
Yep.
network. And then how did it progress? I mean, where did it go from there?
It didn't really.
Because that you haven't been doing that long.
No, but I write a lot. I mean, obviously I have 8 books published, so I write a lot, and it's just being a mom and kids, I couldn't put the hustle in that I wanted to. And I get it. So I mean, I do open mics, and I got to produce a show at the Comedy Store. That was super cool. But feel like things just started moving for me when COVID shut us down.
Yeah.
Like I had 3 gigs that got canceled.
Me too.
So
Me too.
just,
I had a show at the Improv that got canceled. I had a show I was headlining at this Van Nuys Comedy Club out in the Valley that got canceled. The night the bars got shut down was supposed
yeah.
to be that show. And there was something else too, and some road stuff. I know you're feeling, Joy. I know.
So I don't know. It hurt a lot because I was finally getting the momentum, and I felt like everything I had put in, because I put in a lot, like massaging people at night and just trying to be a good person, not stepping on anyone's toes, not fangirling, just being like, hey, I'm cool, and then it just, so I don't know.
Speaking of fangirling, so who is the most famous? Give us the 3 most famous people you rubbed that you were. I love that. That's such the word of a heterosexual man who hasn't been rubbed in a long time. Who you worked on because God, famous people just come hang out in there,
Yeah.
like Robert Downey and right. So who did you work on there?
I got to do Wanda Sykes, which was so cool. She was drinking a margarita through the massage hole, and she said that she would do my podcast, but she was going to ask me questions. And I was like, dude, you're Wanda Sykes. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And God, who else? Oh, so many people, because I got to massage at the goddamn Comedy Jam too. So I got to go backstage in the Roxy.
I'll bet Wanda Sykes enjoyed getting worked on by a woman there.
I would have rubbed my titties on her. I don't care. I love her so much. I mean, her wife might have got pissed, but that's okay. Who else?
She didn't come on though.
No, same thing. COVID happened. Same with Jim Jeffries was going to do it, and I was going to go to his house, and it got canceled.
Wanda Sykes owes you a podcast.
She does. Yes.
Can you get in touch with her? You better let her know.
I have her assistant's phone number, so we'll see.
No, that doesn't sound promising. No offense. I've been in that. That doesn't sound, that's like, I'll do your thing here. Call my,
Well, she did Josh Adam Meyer's 500 show, so I have Josh to help me too. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And I've been to Anthony Jeselnik's house a couple times, so that's cool. Just, I like the big comics, so I don't know.
Yeah, you're still a fan. You're still an audience member. So
Rogan.
Oh, you work on Joe? No. Oh, you froze up. Keep freezing up on me. Well, people, this is a time to reflect on the things you've heard in this podcast. Okay, you're back. You're back. I don't have to sing and dance. So you never worked on Joe Rogan?
No, but I've talked to him. He, in fact, tried to get me to change my podcast.
To what?
He wanted it where I massage people and then I talk to them after.
You know what? I know this is like hindsight 2020, but that would have been a great moment to say, Joe, I would love to do that. If you come produce it, if you attach your name to my podcast, I'm going to take your idea.
Right. But he was always, we talked. We used to have all the conversations in the green room. And at one time he's like, you know what I don't like? And I'm all, me. You're going to say me. It's me. And he's like, no, I like you. And I'm all, okay.
What does he not like? So
fuck, I don't even
You don't even remember. You can't remember what Joe Rogan doesn't like. He came at you passionately.
He did, but he told me his whole story too, how he met his manager and all that. Super interesting, and then there's also some comics that aren't the nicest people, so we have them as well, but
we don't have to mention their names.
No, I've mentioned
them. But I will be finding out who they are after the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. After we get off this podcast, I will be sending an email to Joy Eileen, anonymous, names of comics who are not nice.
There's a couple of comics who would, when they'd enter the kitchen, we weren't allowed to make eye contact with them.
Really? Because they're too well known?
A couple of them know.
These are just store regulars.
Yes. Well, one of them's not even a regular. One of them, Adam swore would never be a regular as long as Adam was the talent coordinator.
How does he just walk back in the kitchen?
Because he's been in movies.
Oh, so he's a famous guy.
Yeah. He's a comic. I mean, he has specials.
Yeah.
But his name's not on the wall.
Well, because he upset somebody or something.
Yep.
Wow. Interesting. This is good shit, Joy. This is good shit. Thank you for this gossip. I'm not above it.
Oh, I love it.
What and by the way, this has been a good year for that. This is just a good year for blowing smoke, man.
Yes.
What else do you have? I end up on fucking social media reading comment boards now.
I know. Isn't it sad?
It's bad. It's really bad. My life was not like that before.
Nope. I look at memories now and I'm like, oh my God, look, I was on stage. I was skinnier. Oh, those are good old days.
You gained a lot of pandemic weight?
Well, first I didn't, because I was working out every day with another comic, Stacia Patwell, and she's a badass, and I was working out with her, but then I started going back to work more, and then well,
I gained about 12 pounds.
I don't even want to know.
Yeah, I know. I shouldn't have even told you. Yeah,
but
definitely. And our gym, we have a gym here. Our gym just opened back up, so I can use it now. But that was what really kept me from, was the biggest problem, because if you could just go downstairs and work out anytime you want.
Right. Well, ours was moving too. Like you're moving, you're eating fast food.
Oh, right. You were moving.
Yes.
And the stress. See, some people lose weight when they're stressed out. I gain weight.
Oh, I do too. Yeah,
So,
and going through escrow, that shit is awful.
you know what? If the reincarnation exists, I want to ask for you and I, if we come back, that we're people who lose weight when they get stressed out.
I like that.
You
I
like
like that.
that? I
Also,
put that in for you and I, Joy.
I like that. I want a
And
penis too this time though. Next time.
you do?
I do.
Yeah, but then you couldn't rub it on Wanda Sykes.
I could no, but I could rub it on others. Believe me, I've got a list. It's okay.
You'd be one of the perverts that the entertainment business is art therapy for.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I rate my husband on.
That's good shit. You as a woman, and you're frozen again, so I'll go ahead and just say what I'm going to say. As a woman, we need more voices of perversion and normalizing perversion, because everybody's a pervert. There you are, you're back. And
I'm
you
back.
really need to, like, I know you're a newer comic, but you should make that a high watermark, that you could be the voice of perverts everywhere who need a voice, because they're purging all of the perverts. And I don't just mean the criminals. I mean the people who make people uncomfortable because they're sexual. They want us all out of positions of expression and creative expression. And men can't, nobody wants to hear a guy anymore. Joy, I'm telling you, you could be the crusader. You could be the voice of, you could normalize perverts.
Oh, I'm on it. I'm on it. I mean, yes, because you have to think too, I write romance books. So I write naughty books. And then I go to author signings and you see these women lusting after these fake characters that are made up in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And even my husband's like, dude, women are horny. And I'm like, yes, we are.
Yeah.
We're bad.
Yeah.
But we hide it better.
Well, it's different though. You guys, well, you'll correct me if I'm wrong. You're a woman, I'm not. So you'll tell me if I'm wrong. But you guys like have a different kind of motor. When your motor idles at a much lower rate than a man. But when your motor gets going, it needs to be satisfied. It can't, you can't walk around idling at a high level. You'll get unhinged as women.
Yeah.
But men, we walk around idling at a very high rate of, we're ready to go. But women are like, it's like a cold iron. But once it gets hot, oh man,
And I feel, and this could be completely wrong, but the tablet, the Nook, the Kindle was our sexual revolution. Because as women, when we would go on a plane, on a beach, you'd have these Fabio covers with, naked men, and it would be embarrassing to read. But now you're reading this innocuous black tablet, then you could be either reading the New York Times or Spank Me Daddy 3. And I feel ever since those came out, more and more women have started to show themselves as what they are.
Okay, so here's a critical question.
Okay.
What is the naughty stuff that women, I know what I like, I know what other dudes who I know like, but what is the naughty stuff that, as a romance writer, which I didn't know romance was even that naughty, romance novel, but yeah, you'll have to explain that. But I always pictured it as the woman Kathleen Turner played in Romancing the Stone,
Okay.
But I've never read a romance novel, so. But what are the naughty things that get women all hot and bothered like that? Give me a short list.
Honestly, the same thing that's going on in porn is going on in romance. So there are stepbrother, stepdaughter romance books, but they're more erotic than romance, I should say. But what people are watching in porn is migrating over into the romance field.
So what a woman wants is to read about it, not to just have it graphically. She doesn't feel like a lady if she's just watching the stepfather and the, I don't know.
Well, okay, well, my thing, okay, so I remember asking my mom once why most male porn stars aren't very attractive. And she said because the average male it's easier for an average male to picture himself as that person than a good looking porn star. So I think when women read these novels, they can put themselves as the main character. Because a lot of us are like, a lot of the description is she's not classically pretty, or she's a little overweight, or she's nobody pays attention to her. So people can connect with that, and then they become that character.
I see. So there's an imagination element
Yes.
to it where I get it. Wow, so many questions I have. I can't, it's hard to even pick one. So since you're frozen, it'll give me a minute here to think of a good question. Give me your tell me about you said 8 books you wrote?
Mm-hmm. And
Okay,
I've ghostwritten 40.
so give me the titles of your books.
Okay.
Give us the titles of your books. So, because there's a lot of old ladies who watch this podcast,
Oh.
and they need some shit to read. I'm assuming most of them are internet savvy, but maybe some of them, I don't know. Maybe some have a Kindle. Who knows? So go ahead and rattle
Okay.
off your books, please.
Okay. I have 3 romance books that are for the rock and roll. The 4th one's coming out in June. So it's Breaking Faith, Surviving Faith, and Becoming Faith. And then the spinoff will come out in June. And then I have a sports romance called Bulk. And then I have 2 paranormals. One's called Transparent, one's called Ghost of Christmas Past. And then I have a brother's best friend, which is called shit, I don't remember.
That's all right.
And then I have a lesbian romance, but I wrote that under a different name.
Good choice. I am looking forward to the filmed version, the feature film version of your book, Coming in Faith. Had to do it. Had to do that.
Love it.
I am not above a good cheap joke that hits you in the shins. No idea zone. Audience. Give us your what you're working on, what you've got coming up.
Okay. Like I said, the next book comes out in June. Hopefully Happy Endings Massage Cast comes back soon.
I want to do it again.
Yes.
I have much more to say, much more to tell.
I will thumb it out of you.
Just don't hit me with your dick.
Okay, my dick will. That's next life.
Yeah, that's right.
And then I have When Wife Gives You Lemons, and then hopefully comedy will open soon.
Okay.
So.
And where can we find you on social media? Give us all of your social media handles, please.
Okay. Instagram is Joy Eileen 84. Twitter is Hey It's Me Joy. And then Joy Eileen on Facebook. So
there's a lot more to her than just what can be encapsulated in an hour podcast that we've just done. I don't know if we did a whole hour, but we're coming up on an hour, which is usually our standard. I have a show coming up to plug. Yeah,
plug it.
I have a show coming up to plug. I don't know. It's been so long. I will be performing at, go on my social media. If you're in LA, it's an LA show. It's going to be downtown. The venue is still yet to be announced, but it is a outside amphitheater. And I will be featuring for the great Eddie Pepitone, my buddy, who will be the headliner. There will be some other great comedians on the show. think Brent Weinbach's on the show, and some other people who I can't remember now. But yeah, that's going to be April 25th in Los Angeles. If you're here and you're not afraid to go outside, hit me up, Stephen Lolli on Facebook, Lolli Stephen on Instagram, Lolli Comedy on Twitter. And I think that's about it. I wonder if I had one more question for you. I think we got it though. But I'm always irritated if I don't ask a question that I want it, if there's something and I go, fuck, I forgot. So, but I am really looking forward to another season of Happy Endings. I will give up my entire podcasting career to be a regular on Happy Endings. That was how much fun I had that down in the basement of the Comedy Store where Bugsy Siegel used to kill people.
Yes.
And it was Ciro's. And he would take people down there and fucking murder them. Mickey Cohen and him. And that was where I was at my most relaxed with Joy Eileen, who's a Frozen again. And she's going to be back, though, in a second. There she is. And I love that you can hear everything I'm saying as you get frozen. So I deeply appreciate you coming on with me, my friend.
No, thank you. This was fun. I miss stuff like this so much.
Well, this will be out in a couple weeks.
Okay.
So look for it. And I will be very looking forward to seeing you again when everything's open, maybe in the summertime or hopefully, God willing.
Yes. I'm fully vaccinated. I got my shots.
Beautiful. Well, maybe I'll be able to say the same for myself this summer. So
just don't tell Sam.
Oh, yeah. I will, but I'll tell him before I go get it so he can see if he can scare the fear into me of, I'm not completely, how do you feel, by the way, after your vaccinations?
Fine.
Pfizer?
I got Pfizer. So
that's why you're fine, because the Moderna one makes people fucking sick.
Yes, but I actually got COVID in between my 2 shots.
Whoa, you're one of those.
Yep. Lost my sense of smell, lost my sense of taste. It was awful.
So the vaccination didn't help you out with that at all?
I tested positive 3 days before my second shot.
You probably contracted the thing like right around the time you got your first shot.
Well, they said it's like 4 or 5 days.
Oh, so yeah. Wow, Joy. So what does that mean? Does anybody know what that means?
I don't know. The nurse was an asshole because I ended up getting my second shot 40 days after my first shot. And she's like, why did you wait so long? And I go, because I got COVID. And she's like, no, you didn't. Yes, I did. She goes, when? And I go, 3 days before my second shot. And she's like, no, you didn't. I'm like, okay. She stabbed it in me and she didn't even give me a Band-Aid.
See, this is why Sam Tripoli is suspicious. Can you blame people? I mean, that's fucked up, dude. That's
I know.
fucked up. Nobody knows the long term. There's some reason to be suspicious. I'm not, but I'm not one to say one way or the other. I don't know. I'm kind of waiting to see what happens to other people.
Right. No, I get it.
I don't have any reason to rush out. I do have some road gigs coming up but I don't have any reason to like rush out and get the vaccination, aside from all the old Jewish ladies who trust authority, who really trust authority, by the way. These are the same people who watch like talent shows on primetime television. They trust authority. Yep. Thank you for making the case that we maybe should not rush out and get the vaccine.
See, I had to get mine to stay so I could go back massaging.
Right.
So I had to get it, but
it can work.
Uh-huh.
Right. But Stephen Lolli, who's just sitting at home watching the kind of porn that old women read at a very unhealthy rate, because there are no like healers out there who want to come pay company and companionship.
Ah,
Does not need to rush out.
there you go.
So, my friend, thank you so much. I'm glad you're healthy and happy, and
Yes.
really looking forward to catching up. And hey, all of you out there, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you go on and find Joy Eileen on YouTube, and watch
Yes.
our Happy Endings episode. It will make you cringe like it did those others.
Yes.
Thank
Go
you, my
cringe.
friend.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed whatever you saw on our channel today. Make sure to like, comment, and share everything you see here, and please hit that big red subscribe button. You have no idea how much it helps the No Idea Zone every time you hit that button. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next installment of the No Idea Zone.